Suri Deitch, Dean of SoPA, and I'm happy to see you for our next, 35, 40 minutes of our annual faculty convocation. And we're really excited to welcome you. We're actually going to start out with a quick interview. One of the great things about doing this, as I was saying a bit ago, one of the few great things about doing this on Zoom is it's really easy to bring in some student participation because you don't have to get people to go to the 1834 Club on a Friday night. So I'm going to start out with an interview with Derek Houston, who's one of our graduating seniors this semester. And we're going to talk a little bit about him and his experience with faculty. We have a whole agenda that we'll show you, but it's interactive. It's got some videos, some student participation, some different things. We have special remarks from Provost Forman coming up after Derek and I talk, and we're really excited to have you. And kudos to those of you who figured out how to put your convocation pennant in your background. That's like way more sophisticated than anything I could manage. So, so again, thanks for coming. And we'll start out with me talking with Derek for a few minutes. You may want to use speaker view, but I know you guys are all experts in Zoom at this point, so you probably don't need to be told that. And yes, Ileana said, don't forget your pennant because we are going to do a screenshot with all of our pennants together. Or I think probably 2 screenshots actually, because we don't all fit on one screen. So again, I'm really happy to be joined by Derek Houston, class of 2021. Yay. We're really excited to have Derek in his last semester at Tulane SoPA. I told him he could take a little break before he comes back for graduate study. And Derek, I was just thinking, Derek has been such a champion of SoPA. He was actually in our first ad campaign when we did our rebranding and renamed the school in 2017. And in addition to being a champion of SoPA, he's many other things. He is a financial advisor at JP Morgan and does really fascinating work in that area, including with professional athletes, which is so interesting to hear about. He's a parent and he is an extensive volunteer at Tulane and in the broader New Orleans community with a particular focus on financial literacy. And he has really great things to say about his experience at SoPA and I think really interesting reflections on what he's learned. So I don't know, Derek, is there anything else that you would add to that really short bio that I just gave you?
No, that was actually very flattering. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to express how valuable my time at Tulane has been to not only my personal growth, but also my career growth as well.
So why don't you say a little bit more about that and sort of, right, you were a professional, a working professional when you came back to school. And so, I don't know, what are a few of the specific things that you think you have gotten actually?
Well, yeah, sure. Well, there's so many to think about, but initially I returned back to university at a point in my career where I realized I plateaued. It was after about 5 years in the banking industry as a banker, and I realized that in order for me to grow and explore other options and opportunities, a bachelor's degree was going to be a necessity. So when I began my journey back at Tulane, it was such a benefit for the school to be so flexible to work with my schedule so that I would be able to attend school as well as grow my practice as a banker at that time in my life. And not only the skills that I've acquired during that time, such as business communication skills that Professor Bouton drilled me on, given public speaking type of engagements. Those practices and exercises really helped me to effectively be able to articulate to my team in a concise manner exactly my point. And in addition to that, I mean, again, there's so many, just thinking about like recreational things outside of how it kind of gave me a break from the business, learning things like drawing and exploring the arts. Professor William Turner was great with, very influential at actually helping me to utilize a part of my brain that I don't as much, because I'm such a logical and person, and my work requires me to be very analytical. So being able to kind of unplug from work and explore other um, fashions of academics, that was so beneficial in many ways.
I think that's great. I think the idea that when you're a little bit older and you have a lot going on in your life, you can come to school and it can be a bit of a respite and a place to think differently than you do in your daily life is a really great thing. Is there, so I prepped Derek like a tiny bit, but then I'm just going to throw stuff at him that I'm sure he can handle. Was there anything that you learned or anything you studied that was unexpected or surprising or took you in a direction you didn't expect?
Yeah, I actually earned a teaching certification in ESL, English as a secondary language, and my job, it requires me to also coach bankers and also provide instruction in certain meetings. And I've learned that I enjoy actually planning the teaching lesson and how to effectively be able to work with a group of diverse individuals, no matter the age range or culture. The skills I picked up from classes I had with professors, Sarah Sprongberg, Donna Murray, I'm just trying to, Moran Lift. I mean, it's very helpful in my growth in picking up a new actually skill that I really enjoy.
That's great. So here's a last question actually. So what would you say to SoPA faculty? You've got about 75 of them on about like, I don't know, what should they know about what students think? What should they keep in mind as they're teaching? I don't know, anything like that.
Well, let me just say, um, my time at Tulane has been a great experience with the faculty and the staff. And I would just encourage them to keep being themselves, because they're so willing to go above and beyond expectation of just the simplest requests. Whether it's been staff members like Etna Hoff, Celeste Uzi, Hope Anderson, simple things I would call for about over my tenure, and they would be able to help me in such a way and point me in the right direction to make sure that I'm accommodated appropriately. And I'm a New Orleanian. I'm a native of this place, so I have a couple of shout outs if you don't mind. Professor Dave Davis actually helped me to not only learn a lot about my history and my culture, but his professorship has been the most impactful in my time at SoPA. So I really want to throw out a shout out to him, as well as my academic advisor, Daniel Rahe. Um, every time I needed direction and trying to figure out what courses to take that would lead me to uh, the degree path that I was looking for, he always was there to take care of me. And the career advisor, Miss Cynthia Washington, she's actually helped me to recently critique my resume. Even though I'm very happy at JP Morgan, it's nice to have those type of people that actually take a general special interest in you in a fiduciary fashion, to whereas they're looking for your best interest and trying to just help you grow. So yeah, that's I definitely wanted to get that out there, because it's just so valuable to experience it.
That's so great. And I'm sure you know that Dave Davis is somewhere on your screen, right?
Oh no, I don't. All I see is you right now. I'm sorry.
All right. And um, Well, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us, Derek. We really appreciate it.
Oh,
Um,
it's my pleasure.
hang around as long as you want. And with that,
Oh,
I'll turn things over to Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost Robin Forman, also a big champion of SoPA, for him to give a welcome and a few remarks to you.
Yes, thank you, Siri. And my goodness, Derek, thank you for joining us tonight. What a really compelling and exciting story about you and about SoPA. It's great to hear about your success. It's also great to hear the role that so many people have played. Dave Davis and David Rahe, Cynthia Washington, and everyone else. It's one of the reasons this event is one of my favorite of the year. I'm sorry we can't be in the 1834 Club. And in part because the food is always really good. I always look forward to that. But it's also, there's just a different vibe in this event. Let me start by saying congratulations to all the awardees tonight. I've had a really interesting experience. The first year I went, heard the award winners, and then listened to the testimonials that were extraordinary. And I thought, well, it's obvious why they got the awards. I mean, they're really amazing. But I mean, what's SoPA going to do next year? And then I would go the next year and there'd be award winners and the testimonials were just as extraordinary. And it happens year after year. I mean, so on the one hand, it's great. It really is incredibly inspirational to hear about individual stories of the few people who are being honored and the impact they've had on their students and their colleagues. And it's really lovely. But in many ways, this is a celebration, not just of the honorees, but of the School of Professional Advancement. It's one of the things that makes the vibe of the event so special is that everyone's joined in their pride of the school, in the joy of student learning, and their commitment to be better, both individually and collectively. And it's throughout the entire evening. So, as much as I look forward to hearing this year's what's irreproducible, testimonials for the award winners. This has also been just a great couple years for SoPA. There have been some wonderful new programs introduced, new courses, new curricula. What's interesting is that every time there's an executive committee meeting, which is twice a year, there's a long list of, I don't know any school that has such a long list of improvements, every semester. New degrees, everything's being refined, everything's being improved, and it's a constant effort. And it really is, it's just wonderful to see. So I want to say, congratulations to the award winners, but really thank you to everyone. What you do at SoPA, I've said this many times, it's unique for a school like Tulane to have a school like the School of Professional Advancement. And because it's not easy, it's not always an easy fit, but the value of having this school here is just unmistakable. It's just unquestionable. And I just want to end by saying this has been, that everything I said would be true in a typical year. But this last year was not a typical year. So really just thank you to everyone. What we accomplished this last year was really extraordinary and a tremendous success. Doesn't mean everything went perfectly. Doesn't mean there weren't moments of true anxiety, whether it's about hurricanes or infections, or just the uncertainty of the presidential election process itself. There were a lot of moments that were debilitating, but nonetheless, the work kept going and the students and faculty kept finding themselves and working together. You may have heard me say this in other meetings, but the course evaluations in the fall were higher than in any of the 3 or 4 previous pre-COVID semesters. Really interesting observation, because I actually don't believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't believe that the teaching this fall was objectively better. It just seems like everyone was so anxious and people were struggling with new technologies, new pedagogies, that, but the students, through their course evaluations, were sending a signal about how much they appreciate the work of their faculty, how much how grateful they were for the commitment to continue to focus on student learning and student success and student growth through the most trying of times. And I share that feeling. We asked a lot of everybody, whether, I don't know if there are any staff or I know that there's at least one student But whether students, staff, or faculty, it wasn't a given that we would succeed, and we would not have succeeded if it wasn't for the fact that everyone rose to the occasion, and everyone appreciated, you know, when I did a survey of faculty, the #1 response was how grateful they were for the students and their commitment to learning through this period. So we couldn't have done it without everyone coming together. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. Congratulations to SoPA for another year of a commitment to student success and student growth and getting better. Best wishes for a successful completion of this semester and this year, and a restorative summer that follows. We all need a restorative summer. And I look forward to seeing you a year from today in the 1834 Club, and being able to, you know, shake hands, even hug. I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, thanks for inviting me to be part of a very special evening. And I will turn the floor over to Ileana Kwaski, Associate Dean of the School of Professional Advancement.
Thank you so much, Robin, and thank you for being here. And before I move on to why we're here, I also want to welcome, thank all of you for being here, and also to welcome the faculty members who have joined as professors of practice since we last met in 2019. So I'm just going to go through their names. Rebecca Carr, who was an adjunct faculty member, and we honored her the last time we were all together. She's a professor of practice in our media and design programs. Lauren Dunaway, also was an adjunct, who's a professor of practice in kinesiology. Tamar Gregorian, who's a professor of practice in media and design, who also has been, an adjunct faculty member. Sikaria Vester, professor in humanities and social sciences. Lauren Lucarillo is our senior professor of practice in humanities and social sciences, as well as our teacher preparation program. We have Kelly McClure, who's professor of practice and program director of our pre-K-12 education programs. Becky Rouse, professor of practice and associate program director of emergency and security studies, and Chris Watts, professor of practice in teacher prep. So although we've had a lot of changes and struggles, we've also grown in our faculty, and welcome all of them. And I also want to welcome, I think I saw Terrence Fitzmaurice, and Maddie, I don't know if you can highlight Terrence so I can see him. I can't see all the folks. Hi, Terrence.
I'm here and I'm enjoying every moment.
Thank you for being here, Terrence.
Thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it. And I got to see Professor Davis again. First time in a long time. You owe me a drink, Dave.
I'm going to add him to the spotlight here so everybody sees. This is Professor Davis, who Derek was referring to before. Yes. Well, thank you for being here. And for those of you who don't know Terrence was the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs for what, 30 years? It was a long time, Terrence, right?
It was about 25 years.
Wow.
And Terrence, I know, and I know what brand of whiskey it is, and I know what country it comes from.
Yes, you do, because we've both been there, and we want to go back.
Yeah, but only one of us has family roots there.
Everyone has family roots there, Dave.
That's true, you know.
Yes.
Well,
it's grand to see you, Terrence.
We're glad to have you both here. So
well, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So tonight, our convocation is about recognizing the contribution that all of you faculty make to our students and to our school. This has been, as Robin's already said, a remarkable year in the midst of so many uncertainties, challenges, changes in how we live and how we work. You all have persevered in your commitment to our students. You've learned new technologies, you've adapted, so we could continue to provide our students, the SoPA students, with an amazing education. And with that, I've seen a lot of grace amongst our faculty over the past year as we have done things like learn about Zoom and that Zoom fatigue is real, that there are times when we will not be able to make the technology work in our favor despite all the planning that we do, that sometimes people forget to mute their microphones, and we can't always keep our pets or our children out of our screenshots. I'm proud to be part of Tulane and to be a member of this group, the SoPA faculty, and I miss being in the room with all of you. This is one of my favorite events, and I'm really looking forward to next year when we're all together, as Robin said, in the 1834 Club. Since we're virtual, we're honoring recipients from the past 2 years. The format is a bit different. We don't want you to get Zoom fatigue. We are going to be presenting the 2020 recipients first, and then the 2021 recipients. We're acknowledging all of you, although we have specific award winners, we're acknowledging all of you and thanking all of you for your deep commitment to our school, which has been demonstrated through your hours and hours of time, your effort, your thoughts, knowledge, experience, industry connections, internships, all of that you offer to our students and our school. So, and I remind you how we select our Distinguished Faculty Award recipients and our Percy Dyer Award recipients. And so each year we put a call out to our students to nominate their professors. And since we've been doing this each year, we've had over 50 faculty members who've been nominated by their students. It just speaks to the kind of faculty that we have here, with several faculty members receiving a number of nominations. The faculty members that were nominated are then reviewed by committee of our academic program leaders and myself. And, and then they're selected based on their student and peer evaluations, exemplary devotion of student achievement, and superb performance in the classroom. Our Distinguished Faculty Awards are given to faculty members who have demonstrated outstanding classroom dedication and performance. So with that, I'd like to present the Distinguished Faculty Award recipients for 2020. I'm going to share a slide. And I don't know, Maddie, if we can also spotlight them as I share the slide. And so our 2020 Faculty Award recipients are Justin Schaefer, Becky Rouse from Emergency and Security Studies, James Nader from General Legal Studies, Darren White from our IT programs, Samantha Barnes, Mike Kaczynski from our MLA program, Shannon Blady, our Teacher Preparation and Certification program, Suzanne Yuspa, who teaches psychology for us, and Tomas Mulady, who teaches in the kinesiology programs. So please join me in congratulating all of our 2020 Distinguished Faculty Award recipients. And if you'd like, you can take yourself off mute and clap, or we can all just watch each other clap. I told Suri I had a sound bite of applause, but I was told not to use it from a number of people. So, all right. Now we will present the 2020 Percy Dyer Award recipients for excellence in teaching. The John Percy Dyer Award is awarded to faculty who have distinguished themselves in the classroom and often outside of the classroom. John Percy Dyer was the first dean of University College, now School of Professional Advancement. He was a scholar and teacher who dedicated his life to educating adult students, providing them with the educational opportunities needed to excel in the modern world. We have 2 Percy Dyer Award recipients for 2020 and 2 for 2021. One nominated for teaching undergraduate courses and the other nominated for teaching graduate courses. We asked students, so usually I read the testimonials as Robin was saying before. This year we have asked students who've nominated their instructors for these awards to share why they nominated them. Before I introduce our first student, I'm going to introduce our first award recipient, and I'm going to share the slide, and if we can pin them again, that would be great. Are you all seeing the slide? Okay. So our first award recipient is Beau Boudreau. Beau Boudreau has been teaching for us since 2003. So he's seen the school go through many changes. He primarily teaches our foundational writing course, English 1010, and expository writing, along with special topics in poetry. Beau has served as a SoPA faculty fellow, and he's a member of the Dean's Advisory Board. I will now turn it over to SoPA's very own Lisa Johnson to tell us why she nominated Beau for an Excellence in Teaching Award.
Dr. Kwaski, thank you so much for asking me to speak this evening. I know my time is limited, but I did want to start with this short story. It was my first day of the semester, and this was going to be my first in-person class in about 15 years. So class started at 6. I got off the clock at 6. So I was really pushing it to get to class. I was nervous. I wanted to be there on time. Well, at 5:57 p.m., this guy comes walking in all willy-nilly wanting to make copies. So I said to myself, oh, it's almost 6 o'clock and this guy wants to make copies. And I was a little agitated, but I said, okay, you're gonna have to hurry up because I don't want to be late for class. And he said, well, I don't want to be late for class either. So he makes his copies and leaves. Well, when I get to the classroom, who is the instructor but the guy I had the nerve to get edgy with, Dr. Beau Boudreau. I just knew I'd failed that class. So I am honored to have this opportunity to say a few words about one of my favorite instructors, Dr. Boudreau. Back in 2020, when asked to nominate an instructor for the Percy Dyer Award, Dr. Boudreau immediately came to mind. And my entry went like this, quote, Dr. Boudreau is a very patient, kind, and thorough instructor. He helped me in understanding how to approach the writing class and walked me through my first essay. He's very approachable and very clear as to what he expects from the students. I was amazed at how easily things were for me, as I hadn't been in a classroom setting in years. I have had many great instructors since I've been here at Tulane, but Dr. Boudreau's kindness and patience always stands out, close quote. And Dr. Boudreau, congratulations on your award. You truly deserve it. And I also want to say it's great to see my other favorite instructor here, Terrence Fitzmaurice.
Thank you, Lisa. Go, Bo.
Thank you, Lisa, and congratulations, Bo. Okay. The other Percy Dyer Award recipient for 2020 is Lauren Dunaway, who started as an adjunct faculty with us in 2018 and is now a professor of practice in kinesiology with a joint appointment in the School of Public Health. Lauren teaches undergraduate and graduate courses in health equity and determinants, exercise, nutrition and behavior, and global health. Jamie Montelepre, did I say that right, is here to tell us why she nominated Lauren for the Excellence in Teaching Award. And I think I saw Jamie.
Yep. Hi, I'm Jamie. I just graduated with a master's in health and wellness management just last semester. I took health equity and determinants with Professor Dunaway a few years ago. And her confidence and in the topic of health equity really showed in class. So this course met in person. It was before the curriculum went completely online. And Professor Donaway created a safe space for me and for my fellow classmates to share our thoughts and experiences. She pushed me outside the box and supported, to think outside the box and supported me when I had questions about class assignments. All of her coursework was thoughtfully assigned. Nothing really seemed like busy work. And I used the resources that I learned about in her class for later courses. And I will say that at the end of class, when it was about time for the big final paper to be due, I had an emergency appendectomy, and Professor Donaway was super understanding and accommodating. And I still remember that and appreciate that. She was one of my favorite professors throughout my curriculum, and she really truly deserves to be recognized with this award. So thank you, Professor Donaway, and congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Those are such kind words.
Thank you, Jamie, and congratulations to Lauren. Everybody, congratulate Lauren. All right. All right, moving on to the Emily H. Vokes Faculty Service Award. The Emily H. Vokes Faculty Service Award recognizes lifetime service to the School of Professional Advancement in many avenues, including teaching, advising, administration, advocacy, and leadership. The 2020 Emily H. Vokes Faculty Service Award recipient is Kay McLennan, Senior Professor of Practice in Business and Leadership Studies. And actually, I'm going to share the slide of Kay, even though we have Kay pinned, because I'd like you all to see Kay and Kay's avatar. We seen Kay and Kay's avatar? Yeah, okay. Okay. This is the avatar that she uses in her virtual classroom. Kay has been teaching for SoPA since 2003, and when the school was known as University College, and she was one of the school's first pioneers in online education, if not the pioneer. This is important because Kay's work is part of the foundation of much of what we do now here at SoPA in terms of online education, offering high quality online courses and programs. I personally am grateful for Kay, her expertise, and the support that she's given me in my role as we've made waves in online education. With her doctorate in education administration, curriculum and instruction, and years of experience and deep expertise teaching online, Kay has helped create standards and guidelines for online course development to provide a consistent learning experience for our students. And she provides resources and training for faculty developing courses and teaching online. Many of you here have probably attended one of Kay's webinars or her online teaching essentials workshop to help faculty improve their online teaching behaviors. You may have also attended one of her Move Your Course Online in the case of a campus closure training that she held years ago. That course was redesigned to deliver at the start of the pandemic last year when we needed to move all faculty to remote learning. Even before the pandemic, Kay has made herself available to all of our faculty, and she often will work one-on-one with faculty members to ensure they feel comfortable and can teach effectively in the online classroom. She's patient, kind, helpful, and very thorough in her guidance. Despite having a very full course load each semester, which Kay does, she works tirelessly to support SoPA's mission. She serves on several committees, takes part in new student orientation each semester. She consistently conveys a willingness to help and always has a positive work attitude. She demonstrates a passion for teaching and learning and exploring emerging technologies. In the classroom, Kay shows a strong commitment to her students, and she has a solid teaching record as evidenced by her evaluations. She provides high quality learning experiences to include the opportunity to learn in a virtual world that she herself built, which is called the SoPA Metaverse. And I'm going to put a plug in Kay for the SoPA Metaverse. For those of you who are interested in exploring the possibility of teaching in a virtual world, Kay will give you an avatar. You can customize how it looks. So if you're interested in that, you should contact Kay. But in the meantime, please join me in congratulating Kay, our 2020 Vokes Award recipient.
Thank you, Ileana, Suri, and colleagues. Thank you.
Okay, with that, we're in between our awards. So now is going to be our interactive time. Please take out your pennants so we can take a picture. And so we have to remove the spot. I can do that. Remove the spotlight, I think, in view and gallery mode. And Maddie, you tell us when.
All right, I'm going to take a couple, so just give me a second here and I'll let you know when you can put your pennants down. One more second.
This is actually a test to see how long you can hold your slide.
Well, Amanda has it all in her background, of course. And yes, Celeste, we got them in time. Thank you. And thanks to Celeste for coordinating.
Alrighty,
Coordinating the pendants, and Amanda for designing the pendants. Actually, shout out to Amanda Garcia. Okay.
Perfect, we are good to go. Thank you, everyone.
And of course, my large this is Zoom. My large Rottweiler is barking in the back. Okay. And now we're moving on to the 2021 awards. I'd like to congratulate, and I'm going to share the slide, but Maddie, if you can pin them if they're here, our distinguished faculty for 2021. I'm going to share the screen and then read through their names. Flint Brent from Business and Leadership Studies, John Carr for Digital Design, Sarah Centurino from Public Relations, Leo Cordova from Emergency and Security Studies, Marie Erickson from General Legal Studies, Jamie Tanner from Kinesiology, Francois Burger-Drew from MPA, Dave Davis from Humanities and Social Sciences, Jason Larino from IT, and Richard Mayans from Teacher Preparation and Certification Program. Please join me in congratulating this year's Distinguished Faculty Award recipients. Yay! Okay. And now we'll move on to the 2021 Percy Dyer Award recipients. The first is Derek Bose. Share the screen. It's hard to keep my notes and share screen. Okay. Here we go. Derek has been teaching critical infrastructure protection courses for the Homeland Security Studies undergraduate and graduate program since 2017. He's been nominated for teaching awards since he started with us, I should note. One of the students who nominated Derek, Cyrus Donato, could not be here tonight because he's at the Federal Law Enforcement Academy, but he sent us this video. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to share the video. And you might want to turn up your sound. It's clear, but it's a little bit low. Okay. And take it back.
Professor Bose is a committed instructor and educator who distinguished himself in the classroom. His class drew on his experience as a manager for the New Orleans Levee District. He brought in a lot of great class speakers and guest lecturers that were able to draw on and create parallels to the real world application of the material that we were learning in class. He provided a foundational analysis of the important support systems of critical infrastructure protection within the broader U.S. national framework. Professor Bose continued to create a cooperative learning environment, especially during the disruptive and challenging times of COVID-19 pandemic. He evolved into a mentor and a counselor for the class as a sounding board during these challenging times. He really helped us discover the real world Homeland Security applications through the classroom. It was really through this mentorship and counseling that he transcended more than an educator. I really appreciate his passion and commitment to the class.
Congratulations to Derek.
Wow, thank you. That was just, thank you.
Okay. And Cynthia Trayna Donais has been teaching for over 20 years, and we couldn't find exactly the date she started with SoPA, but she's been teaching for many, many years for us, as taught courses in our general legal studies program to include bankruptcy and legal technology, computer and the law, and she served as a faculty fellow and presented at national conferences representing SoPA. Cynthia's service to the general legal studies program and SoPA are commendable. And tonight we have one of her students, Joe Waguspek, to tell us why Cynthia is one of the recipients of the Percy Dyer Award for Excellence in Teaching.
Hi guys, can y'all hear me? Okay. Okay, I wrote a speech, but I'm just going to shoot from the cuff because I mean, that's just how I feel about Miss Trayna. I have so many good things to say about her and the program. I don't want to take up too much time, but thank y'all for giving the opportunity to speak on behalf of SoPA. I can't tell you all the great things it's done for me. I had Miss Trayna, I'm in the general legal studies program for SoPA, pursuing my bachelor's degree, and I had her for both the legal technology in the law office and bankruptcy law. So I've had her twice, but the biggest impact she made on me was in 2019. Like many people in the program, I'm a parent. I work full time. So this was tough on me coming back to school, and I hadn't been to school since, before Katrina. When I came to school, there was no really online stuff. You could still rent movies from Blockbuster. There was no Netflix. Technology was not my strong suit. And one of the things that really sticks out to me about Professor Trayna is she really took me step by step through how to work Canvas, how to upload coursework, stuff that was really seemed very daunting to me at first, having attended all my classes in person when I originally went to college back in 04, 05. But then having her a little further, I had her again for bankruptcy law, and her knowledge of the bankruptcy law, also the legal technology in the law office and the general legal field is just, it's unbelievable. When I'd speak to her in person, besides the course material, it's just, she's an inspiration. I just couldn't believe how much one individual knew about the topic she was teaching about. And one of the quotes I put about her is her ability to convey her years of professional knowledge in the legal field to all her students, and her encouraged vigorous and open debate in our discussions is just, it's just astounding. I mean, she's truly deserving of this award, and she's really an inspiration for anyone wanting to go into the legal field. And I want to personally congratulate you, Professor Trayna, and I thank you. And because of this, encouragement you gave me. I'm still continuing through the program, and I hope to graduate in a few years. But congratulations.
Thank you so much. That was really wonderful to hear. And I'm just so honored and humbled. And shout out to my family who's out there, all my 6 children who are out there, and our newest grandchild, number 5. So I want to shout out to them. Thank you. Love you all.
Thank you.
And congratulations, Cynthia. All right. I'm going to turn it over to Suri, who is going to talk about the 2021 Emily H. Vokes Faculty Service Award recipient.
Great. Thanks so much. Mike Kaczynski, who is here somewhere, is the recipient of the Vokes Award for 2021. Mike is a professor of English at Tulane, and I would say, from my perspective, one of the most important and influential members of the academy at Tulane in general. He's a former department chair in English. He just took on the daunting and possibly thankless task of secretary to the University Senate. One could maybe say he's a glutton for punishment. He does incredible research, fascinating research on in literature and religion on the Middle Ages, and he was one of my favorite people to have lunch with, in part because of his research. But he is also an incredible member of the School of Professional Advancement community. He is a longtime instructor in the Master of Liberal Arts program, and consistently nominated for teaching awards in that program. He was also, when I came in 2016, he was a member of the executive committee of the governing council of the school. And in that role, became one of my most trusted advisors and confidants in trying to navigate this new university and its dynamics and politics. He is an advocate for us and an advocate for adult learners within Tulane. I will never forget the Newcomb-Tulane College faculty meeting where Mike came and wandered around telling everyone that he was the Lorax and he was here to speak for SoPA. The major motion that we had on the docket at that faculty meeting passed, which was by no means a given. Not at all. His presence and his support spoke very, very loudly. And we don't always agree, but we always know that our respective opinions are grounded in care for our students and for the institution. And so we can always figure out how to move forward. So we're so glad that Mike sees SoPA as integral to his work at Tulane. I hope that that is always the case and that his work with us will last throughout the rest of his academic career. So congratulations, Mike, and thanks so much for everything that you do for us and for our students.
Thank you, Sari, and thank you to everyone in SoPA. My students in SoPA they're a great inspiration to me. This is really a great honor. Thank you so much.
Great. So with that, Ileana, do I move us on? Okay. So the next part, so we are done with the formal program and we're going to move into a facsimile of casual interaction because we can't just sort of wander around and shake hands and have a drink and an appetizer. I think Robin's reference to the food at the 1834 Club was sarcastic, but I'm actually not sure. It might not have been. But Celeste always does a great job of picking out the menu for us. And although my guess is that in years going forward, we will be both in person and online, and we will be using the best of technology to allow our growing number of faculty across the United States to be there with us in real time. So we are going to now put you randomly into small groups for the rest of the event. We have a discussion question you can use or you can just introduce yourselves and chat for a bit. And then we will, oh, sorry, Robin. I didn't realize Robin was still on. Apparently he really loves the food at the 1834 Club. So I know I should never speak for you, right, Robin? So we're gonna put you into a room. You can leave the event from there. We promise to stay on until everyone's gone, but this is your chance to just hang out. My experience with these kinds of online events is actually that the being put into a small group with a few people is often the best part of the event, although there have been clearly lots of really great things in this one. So should you choose to, the discussion question you can use is tell us one thing about your work with SoPA that you found especially rewarding or challenging in the past year. Thanks to everyone for joining us. It's really nice to see you. Congratulations again to the awardees, and we will see you soon, and we will see you in small groups now, whoever's doing that.
I'm going to break everybody out. Before I do that, I do want to thank everybody again for being here. Congratulations to all the award recipients. I want to thank the students for taking time to be here and to share your thoughts. It made this special. This was really a lovely event, and I didn't know how it was all going to happen on Zoom. And I think we're not in the same room, but we're all here. So thank you. And now you're going to go off into a different space. Okay, I'm breaking this up now. All right, so Sarah and